What's up everyone, and welcome to another daily watch list. These are the trade ideas for Wednesday, November 26th. You guys enjoy. So first and foremost, let's take a look at SPY. So we got that reversal on the weekly chart back to the upside. We actually triggered two up on the week, a 1-2-2 reversal, but we have not gone in force yet. If we were to continue the price action or continue the movement that we started off, then we would be looking for a 2-2 continuation on the daily time frame to target these highs. Now, if we get to that target, then that would be the entry of a gap fill at 680.86, and that gets filled at 683.38. Now, if we do put a rejection here, and let's say we were to get a reversal candle to the downside, well, why would I be talking about a potential or a possible rejection? Well, if we take the swing high from Wednesday, November 12th to the low of Friday, November 21st, we are still at the OTE for a potential rejection back to the downside. Not saying that it will happen. If anything, it seems like the bulls are definitely showing their hands this week. They would be looking for a 2-2 continuation on the day. But we do have to consider, we know we did trigger two up on the week. We do have to consider just in case if they want to put that reversal, but we would be looking, but if we do trigger that 2-2 continuation on the day for SPY, we are looking for the potential gap fill at 680.80. Now QQQ has not triggered two up on the week yet. Hammer on the day, setting up for potential 2-2 continuation on the daily to get to that previous week high. Of course, a 2-2 reversal on the daily time frame would set up this gap fill at 595.16 to 590.07. But right now, it seems like they're looking for that two up on the day. We also have new 2-day time frames. We are currently at 3-1 on the 2-day, possibly setting up for a 3-1-2 up. And we know a 3-1-2 up can potentially lead to a 3-1-2 see you later. Now, why am I thinking that? Well, if you take a look at DIA triggered a 3-1-2 see you later on the daily time frame. IWM also triggered a 3-1-2 see you later on the daily time frame. We know 3-1s are powerful setups, setting up for a potential blast off or explosive move to the upside or to the downside, depending on what side you trigger that 3-1. Now, in terms of tickers I'm going to be looking at for tomorrow, Tesla is going to be the first ticker. Now, I had this on the watch list yesterday. I wanted that potential bullish kicker pattern on the daily, but we didn't get it. We closed the inside hammer. Now we're setting up for either a 2-1-2 continuation or a 2-1-2 reversal to the downside. Of course, a 2-1-2 reversal to the downside sets up this gap fill at 401 to 09 to 391.09. But a 2-1-2 continuation to the upside sets up previous week high and this next gap at 430.60. So you would be looking to target that if we do trigger a 2-1-2 up on the daily time frame. I'm also going to be looking at RIVN. RIVN also has a nice setup on the 2-day time frame. You triggered a 3-2 up on the 2-day chart, possibly setting up for a 3-2-2 continuation into the gap fill with full time frame continuity to the upside. And you are at OTE. So let's see if we can get that reversal set up back up, and that would look something like this. Let's see if it wants to get back to the highs. After RIVN is going to be CAT. CAT has a phenomenal setup on the 2-day chart, a potential 3-1-2 up or a 3-1-2 down. Now you are at this trend line, but right now it seems like you want to break the trend line. So I'd be looking for a 3-1-2 up. Also on the daily time frame, you close as a hammer 3, possibly setting it for a 3-2 up on the daily. We know trend line break 3s are explosive type of moves. If you get that 3-2 up that coincides with the 3-1-2 up on the 2-day chart, you would be looking to potentially get to that 2-week trigger, and that would set up a 2-1-2 up on the 2-week chart back to the upside. Okay, after Caterpillar is going to be low. Low also has a potential bullish kicker pattern on the daily. You did close as a bear. This is like a textbook bullish kicker, right? You had a bearish candle close yesterday where you closed at the lows, but then you gapped up. These guys had to cover their shorts, and then you just had an explosive move to the upside. So now what confirms that bullish kicker is if you get a 2-2 up on the daily time frame to potentially set up this gap fill here at 239.34 that gets filled at 239.82. After low is going to be Nike. Nike has a 3-1-1-3 on the day. Now you have a gap on both sides. A 1-3-2 down triggers previous week low, or the target for that would be previous week low, but a 1-3-2 up targets this gap fill at $65.06. Let's see what Nike wants to do. If you guys have noticed, a lot of stocks within consumer discretionary or the retail, like they went crazy today. McDonald's, Starbucks. As a matter of fact, let me talk about McDonald's, because McDonald's did trigger that 2 up on the 3-week time frame and 2 up on the day. So also setting up for a potential bullish kicker pattern on the daily. You had a lot of bearish candle closes yesterday just for you to gap up today and close at the highs. So possibly setting up for a 2-2 reversal for McDonald's. Another ticker that we talked about yesterday, we had the UAL Airlines. Phenomenal move today. You did get that 2-2 continuation. Not only did you fill the gap, you got a move plus the gap fill. Yeah, your DALs, your UALs, that went off. You might get continuation in the transportation sector as well. So let's see what happens tomorrow. We did accomplish the objective of triggering the weekly liquidity, or triggering the weekly trigger of 2 up on the week or 2 down on the week. We're gonna get a little bit continuation prior to the Thanksgiving holiday. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. I really appreciate the support with these videos. Let's have a great Wednesday, and I will see you all later.